let's take a look at the entities that are being released with the media extension. This is one way to look at it. I wanted to show you this just quickly, that we have well over 60 new entities that have been created, and they've been broken down into different themes. But before we show you that, let me just dive over to my Power Apps screen here, and I have these entities here. So when you import these managed solutions, the new entities as part of the Media Accelerator, you'll see them all here. They are available to you right off the bat. Now, each one of these entities comes with a variety of different attributes. Some of them have just a few attributes, but some of them are quite complex and have quite a lot of attributes, like media event here, which has quite a lot of fields associated with it that you'll find very useful when you're building out your media applications. So there are, as I said, well over 60 of these entities that you'll be able to use. This slide breaks them down by category. So we have entities around guest management, entities around sports management, entities around events and venue management, and then more entities that allow you to build certain workflows such as ticketing sales or perhaps display advertising sales, two key aspects of the monetization part of the media and entertainment industry. You'll notice that some of these entities are brand new, whilst others of them extend that on existing entities that are available either through the common data model that already exists, or extending entities that exist that you get from D365 sales, such as products or quotes. So what we've tried to do here is build out these entities in such a way that you can start building applications very quickly. Now, of course, part of the accelerator is to give you examples of these, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So let's dive into these one at a time. Let's start with guest management. So guest management, as you would surmise, is really all about managing the different customers that come to you and gathering valuable metrics and data around them. We created a brand new entity called the guest. The guest is something new. The guest is not quite a contact, as you know it, but a guest is where you have limited information about someone who came to an event or purchased something only once. And obviously your goal is to try to convert them over time to being a regular recurring purchaser, like a season ticket holder, for example. So what we've done is we've created a variety of different ways to do that. And I'm going to show you those now. I'm going to go over to the application here, and you'll see that we are offering as part of the accelerator a new guest management solution. This is a model-driven app. So I'll go ahead and launch that one. And you'll see a variety of things. So the first thing you'll see is, of course, we've created a sample dashboard. Of course, mind you that this is just representative of some example data that we stuck in here, but you could get information about your guests, such as their ages or the zip codes that they're from, or their genders, or the ability for you to then tag them in different ways, such as did they become season ticket holders, or do they different categorize? Can you categorize your guests in different ways? And these are categories that, of course, are customized by you. So what you'll notice here in this model-driven app is these entities now exist. The fans and guest entity exists, and I can begin loading all of my fans and guests. Each of my guests can have different attributes that I want to store. Whether they have special dietary requirements, or whether they're fans of a particular type of sport or a team, or whatever I'd like to do. If I want to convert them to leads because I want to try to convince them to buy a season ticket package, I can now integrate to do that, and all of the connections are there. What we've also done is given you the ability to create guest categories that you can manage. We also created a concept called the loyalty program. Obviously, loyalty programs are very important these days as it helps to drive reuse and then rewarding your customers when they use your services or your products. So, for example, I could create a loyalty program here, and this loyalty program could be based on points, and I want to collect those points. I could even create levels of my loyalty program, like the gold level that you get when you hit a certain balance, and then create those accounts and manage those accounts here. So this is all part of guest management. The second area is event and venue management. So event and venue management, as you might imagine, is a really broad area. There are many different types of venues and events that are in the industry, ranging from music concerts to arts festivals, obviously sports, industry conferences, hackathons, etc. So we wanted this to be very broad and we wanted to be flexible. So in the events and venue management area, you can create events, you can create venues, you can schedule those events to occur in your venues. You could build attractions and speakers and pavilions and rides that exist within your venue. And you can even plan for seating that you might be selling later, such as creating seat maps and seat tiers. So let's take a look at the event and venue management solution that comes with the Accelerator. And again, when you import that solution into your Power Apps environment, you'll be able to manipulate and play with those entities as well. So I'll go ahead and bring up the event and venue management here. Of course, again, we give you a quick dashboard just to get you started. That maybe tracks the attendance or the sales that within a particular event, or the number of people who have registered for that event versus the number that attended, or whatever is valuable to you. But you get started clearly by adding all of the venues that you're managing. Those venues could be anything from stadiums and arenas to office or expo centers or convention halls or concert halls. And I put in that information. We're tracking as much information as we can in here. So for example, we're tracking the Wi-Fi, the different facilities that are part of that venue, the gates that you come in and out of that you might be scanning tickets or ID badges that you want to track for future. If it is a theater, then you might have a seat map, which basically helps to define the types of seating that you can create, the seating that's involved. Lots of different venues that you can create here. As I was mentioning with seat maps, of course, help define the rows and the sections of seats that might exist. So here, for example, in my Commons Field bleacher that I've entered information about the bleacher seats that are available at our Commons Field. And within the bleacher seats, there's a tier called bleachers, and there are different numbers of rows and seats, and I load that into the system. All of that will come into use later if I begin to start selling seats or managing the attendance and assignment of seats. We've also created, as you can clearly see, entities around concession partners, concession stands, the attractions that might happen at a particular event or a theme park, or a stadium, a sports arena might have different attractions or things that you can do. And so we're loading all of that as well. Of course, once you've added all the physical entities, now you want to be able to schedule events to take place. So whether you're scheduling for a virtual conference, a physical conference, a sporting match, you can enter information about that. And of course, we're capturing lots of different information about the different event that you might be scheduling, information that might show up in a registration portal, and sending information about the schedule of speakers. You can use it to help book those speakers or to manage the themes or the topics. And of course, very important to that would be all the different venues and attractions that happen within that event. Some events, as you probably know, involve tickets, and some events don't involve tickets. And so we wanted to be able to give you the ability to manage those tickets as well. So if it, for example, is a business conference like the one that you're attending right now, if it's online, you can manage the registrations of those things, or if it involves a physical venue, you can manage that as well. So that's venue and event management. Okay. Now, sports management. Obviously, a very big area within the media and entertainment industry is sports management and the business of sports. And so there's lots of different sports, from community sports, professional sports, collegiate sports, amateur sports, even electronic sports games, online games. So we wanted to be able to offer entities that would support all those different concepts as well. And so sports management is another option within the Accelerator. We have all kinds of different entities that we have created, as you can see. And then I can use the Accelerator to manage the relationships in and across those sports entities. I'll go back to my apps here and bring up our sports management app. So this is the third of the solutions that we're shipping with. In this case, we ship also with a sample dashboard, which gives you some information. But of course, the key here is the new entities that exist around sports administration. So leagues that might be built, the teams that play within those leagues, and any conferences or divisions that those teams are part of that can be assembled in different ways to build out the league that you're in. A very cool thing that we added was the concept of the season. Season, of course, ties things together very nicely. Now, you could use this in sports. You could also use it not in sports. Sometimes you want to assign seasons to industry conference events like our Microsoft shows that exist. Or sometimes seasons can be for theme parks, a different holiday season or a special anniversary season or something like that. So we wanted to create the concept of the season. But in sports administration, obviously the idea is that once you build out all of the teams, the players, the officials that are in there, then you can begin to manage and schedule those. So similarly to the way I did with events and venues, when you add the sports layer on top, it just adds some more fields in it that you can manage. So for example, the home team, the visiting team, the game that's going on, and the score that you might want to track in real time. All of these are aspects of sports management that are important. We also add the concept of a playing field. A playing field is clearly a place that a sport can take place on. And I am already working with a number of different partners that are using GPS coordinates to track the places where activities occur within a sporting playing field. So that's something that you'll see as a new entity as well, which is a playing field point inside of playing fields. And so sports adds just another layer of managing what's going on with your events and venues. Now, as I mentioned, one of the key areas that workflows that we're trying to help optimize or really give a kickstart to is around ticketing sales or advertising. These are two big areas of monetization within the media and entertainment industry. So we've built quite a lot of entities and attributes around ticket sales to start. Just a couple glimpses I'm going to give you because this is very rich and lots of things can happen in here. So the first thing I'll show you, of course, is I already mentioned that you have the ability to create seat maps and the different tiering of seating within an event or within a venue. Now you use that when you come to ticket sales and you want to start selling those seats or selling access to those venues that you have. Whether that's a one-time purchase like an individual game, or maybe it's a season membership or a season ticket that gets you into multiple games. That's obviously up to you to decide, but we use ticket sales to really help propel you to be able to build those solutions faster around tickets. So one of the things you'll notice is if you are a current user of Dynamic 365 Sales, this will look a little familiar to you because we have already built on top of the same workflow that exists within sales, the ability to land opportunities or follow up on leads that get you to opportunities, make quotes to customers of selling them something, and then ultimately close a particular order. And so we do that with the media constructs that we've created. So what you can see here is I have a series of events like Microsoft's Build Conference, and then I want to start selling access to those events or selling tickets to a particular sport game, like the Seattle Storm versus New York Liberty game. So this is an event that I scheduled, and then I went in down to products here, and I created products that are ticketing products. Now, there's lots of different products that you can create, and I'll show you very briefly that there's lots of different product types. And we wanted to support a lot of different product types here to support a different number of different scenarios. So you'll see we have video products like video subscriptions and audio and data subscriptions, even game and mobile planning, the ability to sell luxury or function suites, food and beverage plans. And then, of course, we have the ticketing package here, which is the one I'm going to show you how that worked. So that's one of many. I've created one already. And what you'll see here is I created this Seattle Storm regular season individual game lower tier. This describes a particular ticketing product. That's a combination of a season. This is the Women's NBA regular season, an event that takes place, which is one particular game, which has been defined already as having ticketing. It has assigned seating. It takes place at a particular venue. And I've assigned the lower seat tier to this product, which costs $35 per seat. That's part of this arena, which has a seat map. So you see how all this sort of fits together. And once I create a product for something, well, of course, then I can begin to sell that product. I can do that through the normal sales process of quoting and then placing an order. So here's an order that somebody purchased. I think this is a Johnson family placed $140 ticket order to buy 4 seats of the Seattle Storm regular season. They bought 4 of them at a price of $140. So that's how you see that works out. And so what you clearly can see is we've incorporated media constructs inside the sales process, and now you get to take advantage of those right away with all the benefits of both the media extensions as well as the sales. So that's ticket sales. And as I said, the second area of key automation and business workflow and monetization is around advertising sales. So advertising sales, as you probably know as a consumer, is a very complicated and very lucrative business that the media and entertainment industry is in. And what it involves, of course, is the selling of messaging, of digital or analog or display messaging on displays or on billboards or on signage across a particular venue, or ultimately within the televisions or the online streaming media that you might have. So we've done quite a lot of work to create a series of entities around advertising product administration. This is quite extensive. I won't run you through everything involving that now, but I will give you just a glimpse that it's pretty complicated on purpose. We wanted to make this very powerful. So one of the things that you can create are the concept of an advertising zone. An advertising zone is a set of dedicated screens, whether it's scoreboards or billboards or digital signage throughout the concessions area or the grandstand of a stadium. You can assign that to an advertising zone. You can then create a series of advertising segments. Advertising segments are when an advertisement might take place. It might take place at a particular time during the game. It might take place permanently on the venue. You might have naming rights that are located outside of a room or in a particular area. So you'd set up those things, and then you tie them all together with an advertising product. An advertising product, of course, is the combination of selling the time and the place for messaging. And you would charge for that and then fulfill that order. So we are giving you quite a lot of flexibility here with advertising. I wanted to also show you that what we've also done is given some future work that you can build around national television or local television, radio, or online advertising. We've created television market areas, which these are the sample data for the United States. You can see we've incorporated cities across the US with the number of TV households in each of those. The ability for you to create customized geographic regions for targeting, and then assign households or targets to those regions. So we wanted to create those as well. So quite a lot of work here to really demonstrate the power of how we're building the Accelerator to target ticketing and also advertising. Now, even with the release of the V1 Media Accelerator, there's still quite a lot of use cases that we haven't got to, and we intend to continue to expand this out as our customer and partner feedback comes in that tells us what they need us to focus in on. So lots of ideas. We love getting your feedback, and wouldn't mind hearing back from you about things you'd like us to work on. But we do anticipate there's lots of things coming up in